My name is Taylor Lee, and I did the Python summer camp class during summer 2023. So my project was inspired by horse races, but like I like turtles better, so I did turtles. And there's some very high quality images of turtles racing. And what did I learn? So during the class, I learned about for loops, variables, turtle library, strings, and integers, which I used in my project. The number one thing I used was functions. So a function is a block of code which only runs when it is called. You can pass data into a function. A function can return data as a result. And the second thing I used were turtles. So I learned to create a turtle that can draw and race at different speeds. So an example of my code is the display turtle function. So in this function, it basically handles everything that has to do with the turtles, like the pen down, which makes the lines, the speed of it, the random speed, and the color.
So what is exactly happening in display turtles? Let's go line by line.
So in the display turtles, we have the y equals -4, which kind of doesn't matter, but we're just left it anyway. So we in a line above, we have a make turtle, which makes all the turtles depending on user input. And we can take this turtles list by using a special function or command that I'll talk about later. And there's also an input winner. So the user can input which turtle they think will win. And for the T in the for T in turtle list, for loop. In the make turtles function, there's a variable called turtle list, and you can input how many turtles you want to put in the turtle list. So it takes the T in turtles, which is all of the turtles. So if there are 4 T's, then it runs this for loop 4 times. So this T also stands for turtle.turtle. And this basically means turtle.turtle.go to this. So T.go to -220x and y. And that y variable is starts at 0, but then it gets lowered by 40 every time. So the turtles can get stacked on top of each other in the starting line. And the shape size line changes the size to 1. So we can ensure that the shape changes to 3. For the animation, where it circles, where it rotates 36 degrees 10 times, which basically means it goes in a full circle. And then right after, it changes back to its original size. And then we also have pen down, because if we didn't have this, then it would just constantly be drawing. And the turtles don't always get generated in the spot we want to, so we have to move them to a certain spot, which is the point of this line right here. So we have to do pen up when we generate the turtles, and then once they get into the starting line, we do pen down so they can draw when they move. And this finish line right here says where the finish line is. And this while loops, so the for loop and the while loop, it's basically the same thing as this one here, except that this T.forward, random.randin 1 through 6, means that every time they move, they have a certain speed attached to them. So it can either be a 1 or it can either be a 6. So this if line says that if the turtle's x coordinate is greater than or equal to the finish line, which is x200, then it will print the winning turtle is whatever the turtle color was.
Okay. So what's the difference between a for loop and a while loop?
So a for loop is when it's gonna end. And then a while loop is it just keeps on running it until it is told not to.
Okay, and So I see that you used the T dot color. Where did you get that from?
So based on the documentation, we just wrote what the documentation said and put it in here, and now it works beautifully.
Okay. And then what is that in grid on that right side on the wild loop?
So this init basically makes the entire canvas that the turtles race on. The grid makes the actual racetrack itself. And this while loop takes the turtle list from display turtles, which is right here, and the choice comes from the play again. So the play again function basically asks the player whether they would like to play again, and it just takes that variable from the play again. So we use that play again, or we use the choice from play again to check whether the choice is true. Now, I might not say true, that choice is true, but this basically means if true, if choice is true. We just can shorten it. So if it's true, it resets the turtles from the turtle list. Or if they say no, then it says print, thanks for playing, and then break. Break just ends the whole thing.
And how are you able to get the true or false from the play again function?
So we use a special command called return. And that return lets you transfer data from one function to another. Like, for example, you have a Kit Kat in a certain drawer. You can't give the Kit Kat to another drawer because there's no connection. So then the return command lets you open the drawers and then take the Kit Kat and put them in the other drawer. So you can transfer the Kit Kat like data.
Beautiful.
So we have a demo now. So we have a random color every time it is run. So now we have an orange. And you can see the turtle generates the grid where the turtles will be racing. So you can enter however many turtles you want. We'll do 3, and we can enter a any color basically, red, blue, even purple. And we can choose, we can guess who we think will win. So I go with red, and it does its little animation. And then they're off. It's kind of hard to see the red, but the red wins. Wow. And then it displays the time right here. And it also asks you whether you want to play again or not. And if we say yes, then it will run the code again. And we can just do 2, red, and then blue. Red. They do the animation again. And there they go. And then blue wins by a lot. And then you can also say no to not play again, and it just says thanks for playing.
Awesome. So how are you able to do the grid? Did you go line by line, or did you shorten it in some way?
So we use the turtle.write command to write whatever we wanted. So it goes. So I generated 15 numbers, but how the for loop works is that it starts from 0. So we have 15, but it only goes up to 14. And then I use a special character to generate these lines. And we use a nested for loop to go one way and then back this way and then this way and back this way. We just do that over and over again until we have our truck.
Awesome. So if you wanted to add more, let's say more rows, how would you do that in the nested for loop?
Well, we would find where we generate the rows, and then we just add more to the number that generates the rows.
Beautiful. And we wanted to add less.
Then we can just lower it, and then we would also have to alter the finish line according.
Awesome. And then yeah, this is it. Okay, I'll take it again.
So my favorite part about working on this project were the for loops. So these for loops really simplified everything and bunched them all together to make it all organized. So my original version of this code was a huge block of code where if you wanted, where there's, you were only limited to 5 turtles. And how I did it, which was kind of like really bad and efficient, was hiding a certain amount if the input was a certain amount, which was very inefficient and just took up a lot of space and wasn't like customizable like how this one is. So for loops just simplified everything. And just,
Awesome. So I saw for your num of turtles, your function of num of turtles, it says num is equal to input. And then your make turtles also has a variable of num. How is it possible that you're able to do 2 variables?
so we use this very special command called return, and it just transfers the data, like how we said before in the function's definition. It transfers the num variable from here to here.
Awesome, good. And then so what else is important about function? Isn't there a way that you could just put, you know, a comment that says number of turtles, and that way you know where number of turtles is?
Well, you see, you wouldn't be able to do that if it was like that. I mean, you couldn't transfer data through the different functions if you didn't use a function.
Awesome, awesome. And then yeah, well, I think that's about it for that.
And here's how I would improve my project. So first thing I would do is error handling. So for example, if you misspell purple and say purple, it would not lead to an error screen, but just ask you to you would just repeat. It would ask you to input again and again until you get something it can recognize, which is like good. So you don't have to like rerun the program every single time and just misspell something by typing too fast. And I would also put a bigger track, which you can do by just increasing the numbers on the grid function, and also multiplayer. So you can you and your friend could enter your names, and then the program would ask you, what is player one's name? And I would say Teddy. And then my friend would say, oh, my name's Tom. And then me and Tom can input our own bets on who would win. And then it would check if Tom or I won. And it would say Tom or I or me won. Thank you.
All right, that's great, Teddy. Good job, man.